Good morning, one and all. This is Dr. Diana. Welcome to session 20 on modern software engineering. We have been revising Unit 5 in the past few sessions. This is our last session on revision of Unit 5 topics. In Unit 5, we have been looking into how to develop or major development strategies in agile environments. We have been starting with incremental requirement gathering, and then we have been looking into how to conduct customer tests, how the TDD or the test driven development cycle works, and the main part of the TDD cycle, which is refactoring. How do we refactor? And we have been using code smells to identify spots for refactoring, and once it is done to refactor, how do we incrementally design? And then when you have uncertainties in your design, how do you solve them using spike solutions? And we have also seen on performance optimization. This topic or this session we will look into exploratory testing. Now once we have identified all our code, once we have completed our refactoring and the TDD cycle, we will have a well designed, well coded, well factored and well tested piece of code. And we have also done something called as performance optimization. So it is expected that your code performs well, but there are situations which are unidentified, but there are bugs and errors in your software which we need to identify. So this is done using exploratory testing. This exploratory testing discovers surprises and untested conditions. As we do not have an independent group of people responsible for assessing and ensuring quality of the final release, a particular and effective way of finding these surprises, gaps and holes is the exploratory testing. It is a style of testing in which you learn about the software while simultaneously designing and executing tests using feedback from the previous test to inform the next. This exploratory testing enables you to discover emergent behavior, unexpected side effects, holes in the implementation. This is almost like an automated test coverage, and risks related to quality attributes that cross story boundaries, such as security, performance, and reliability. All of these can be tested. It's a perfect complement to XPLE's raft of automated testing techniques. It is very similar to the test-driven development and incremental design. So, in that way, we can say it is rather than designing a huge suite of tests upfront, you design a single test in your head, execute it against the software, and see what happens. If the result of if your result is positive, then you work on changing what is required. If whatever you test, your production code passes the test, then you move to the next or a new direction of testing. So in this aspect, the result of each test leads you to design the next test. It allows you to pursue directions that wouldn't have been anticipated if you had attempted to design all these tests upfront. Now, each test is a little experiment that investigates the capabilities and limitations of your production code. This can be done either manually or with an assistance of an automated tool. This works best when all your software is ready to be explored, or the stories of your software have all completed their done criteria. Only if you have all your stories completing the done criteria, then you start with exploratory testing. There are 4 major tools that can be used in exploratory testing. Now this exploratory testing, you have to imagine it like an archaeologist. Now an archaeologist digs up a place and then finds a fossil. Once he finds a fossil, depending on what he finds, when he finds, how he finds and what is there, they think about where to start their exploration next. So this exploratory testing is more like that. So you start with the spot in your software. Depending on what result you get from exploratively testing that spot, you design your next test case. When this is unguided, when you just like that start from a spot, certain tools are very much required to guide you through the exploratory testing session. So there are 4 tools which are used. One is the charter, the observation, note taking, and heuristic. A charter is more like a guideline. So before beginning an exploratory session, a tester should have some idea of what to explore in the system and what kinds of things to look for in the system. This charter helps keep your exploratory testing session focused. Usually an exploratory testing session lasts for up to 1 or 2 hours. So you have a guideline of what to test first. You start from there. This charter is called as the guideline. This charter for a given exploratory session must come from just a completed story. So imagine if you have completed a story, you can list all the features that the story is supposed to complete, and if you start checking on those features, it could give you a very effective guideline. To generate charters by working with the team to understand what information would be most useful to move the project forward. And then charters are a testing equivalent of the same story that you have developed. The next major tool is called the observation. Automated tests only verify the behavior that the programmers write them to verify. But humans are not so. They are capable of noticing subtle clues that suggest all that is not right in your software. So exploratory testers are continuously alert for anything out of the ordinary. So they observe things, and these observations lead to exploratory testers to ask more questions. They help us to run more tests and explore in new directions. And the third important tool is the note-taking tool. While we start exploring, it is very easy for us to lose track of what we have explored, what we have already identified, what are the errors we have picked up, and what are the issues we have solved. So it is most of the experienced exploratory testers, they have a notepad beside them, and they keep note of everything periodically, of what they have tested and what actions they have taken on some of the exploratory tests that they have conducted. You can also use screen recorders such as Camtasia. These recorders, they help you to record all your tests, what you started with, where you went, what was the observation you made, and how you ended up with the next test, and all of these can be recorded. Once it is recorded, this becomes a living documentation of your testing phase. You need to be very careful on jotting down some of the points that need to be investigated later. So if you have something that in mind during exploratory testing that you have identified a spot for further investigation, keep a note of that so that you can do another exploratory session particularly on those aspects. The last and the main tool used in exploratory testing is the heuristics. A heuristic is an educated guess. So when you try starting your exploratory session from blind spots of code, you can use some wisdom or experience to tell your team where to start that exploratory testing. So these heuristics or experiences, or you can call them tips or tricks, these help us to identify spots from which you can start your exploratory testing sessions. Remember that an exploratory testing involves simultaneously designing and executing tests. Some test design techniques which are known already, they are called as boundary testing and all of that. Boundary testing is an example of a heuristic. It's nothing but a guide that aids in your exploration. And experienced testers, they use a variety of such heuristics which they have gained from their understanding of how the software system works, and they also have intuitions on What usually causes a software to fail? So based on these ideas, they can help you pick up your blind spot for starting your exploratory session. You can improve your exploratory efforts by creating and maintaining a catalog of such heuristics and remembering what to explore in your software and when to explore them. There are certain heuristics which are specific to the domain. For example, if you have started working with the networking software, then you must inevitably work with the IP addresses. So you have to see how your production code handles some of the IP addresses. You can try giving an invalid IP address of 999.999.999 and see how your system throws a error. Or you can use a special IP address such as 127.0.0.1 and see how your production code responds to it. And you can also use IPv6 style addresses and check if your software is still compatible with that format. But apart from these, there are certain other heuristics which are generic to most of the software products or projects. Now we will look into some of those general purpose heuristics or software purpose heuristics which can be used invariably for all softwares. The first heuristic principle is called as the none sum all principle. Imagine you have created a software with various levels of users, giving them multiple access permissions. So you can try creating a user with no permissions, you can creating a user with some permissions and one user with all permissions, and check all the functionality of your software with all these three users. This reveals most of the errors that are caused using because of the user permissions. And the second principle is the Goldilocks, too small, too big, and the just right principle. It can be tried when you use or try to accommodate files with various sizes. So you can try uploading a file into your production code which is a very big piece of file, or you can try inserting a file that is too small, and you can also try uploading a file that is of a very comfortable size, and then you just check how your production code responds when you upload all three of these files. Another heuristic could be based on the position in which you try reading or inserting your file to or your data from and to. This can be applied to a list where you can start uploading or inserting your data at the beginning, at the middle, and at the end of a sequence, and then check how your production code responds to each of these three positions. One of the major heuristic which is used when you try interacting with databases is 0, 1 and many principle. The 0, 1 and many principle helps you to identify errors when you try to insert 0 elements, 1 element, or many elements in your software. Now this also reveals singular plural errors that are caused. Now imagine you have a software that allows you to buy multiple items. You can try buying 0 items, 1 item, or many items. Your response will say 0 items bought. It can say 1 items bought instead of 1 item bought. So all these singular plural errors may be revealed when you check on 0, 1 and many items in a particular production code. The next aspect when you try to deal with databases is the crude heuristic. A crude is when you try creating, reading, updating and deleting data from a database. So when you try to interact with the database, for every field that you have created in your database, try creating one, reading one, updating one and deleting one. It will reveal 80% of your errors when you try interacting with your database. And if you have various levels of users with different permissions, you might have to try all of these operations with all levels of users and check how your production code responds to all of these permissions. And the next major heuristic to look for is the command injection. Now imagine your production code takes user inputs in the form of text. example web service that can be started or stopped using an SMS from the user. So this is a text command which your production code receives from a user. And there are always other data which is also in the form of text. Make sure that your data and your text commands do not overlap each other. This is especially important when you define web services interfaces. So make sure your data doesn't interrupt with your external command source. And these are some of the important points that you need to remember while doing exploratory testing. Exploratory testing is a style of testing in which you learn about the software while simultaneously designing and executing tests, using feedback from the previous test to inform you to the next. Rather than designing a huge suite of tests up front, you design a single test in your head, execute it against the software and see what happens. The result of each of these tests leads you to design the next test, allowing you to pursue directions in which you wouldn't have anticipated if you had attempted to design all your tests up front. And these are some of the major exploratory testing tools that are used. Charters, observation, note taking and heuristics. Under heuristics, we have seen 6 different principles which can help you in exploratory testing. None, some, all, Goldilocks, too big, too small and just right principle. The third one is position, beginning, middle and end. The fourth one is based on the count, 0, 1 and many. The fifth one is based on a database interaction, which is the crude principle, which is meant for creating, reading, updating and deleting data. And the last one is the sixth one, the command injection heuristic principle. So we have seen how exploratory testing works in agile development environments. This completes our revision on Unit 5. This is Dr. Diana signing off. Thank you one and all.